specifically over what they did with the believers, they themselves are a witness. وَهُمْ عَلَى مَا يَفْعَلُونَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Especially what they did with the believers, they are a witness to this. Now Allah did not say يَعْمَلُونَ here. يَفْعَلُونَ, He didn't say يَعْمَلُونَ. Amal is something you think about and do it. A thought runs in your mind. Amal is like writing a book is a amal. Okay? But breathing is a fi'l, it's not a amal. It just, you don't think about it, maybe I should exhale. You don't do that. It just happens. Right? This is a fi'l. What this tells us is they didn't think twice about what they were doing with the believers. There was no thought. Nobody would step back and say, wait, maybe we shouldn't be, we're throwing a baby in there. We're throwing innocent women and children in there. We're throwing innocent people in there. Maybe we shouldn't be. The thought never occurred to them. بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ. What this means, especially when it came to this, these people are good witnesses because they sat there the whole time. You know, when you watch something, an accident or whatever, you saw some glimpse of it. You saw something. I saw this guy running, I don't know what happened. But when you sat there to watch and enjoy, aren't you the most, reliable witness to what happened? So Allah made them the most thorough witness of their crime. وَهُمْ عَلَى مَا يَفْعَلُونَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ شُهُودٌ. Somebody from far away may have seen this happen and run off. He didn't see everything that happened. But these vicious criminals, they saw everything. So Allah makes them a witness. Allah makes them testify. Why should anybody else? In court, the guy who did the crime says innocent. And you have to bring some external witness who comes in and says, yeah, I think that was him. I think this is what happened. But I'm not sure because I was scared. But who's testifying on Judgment Day about this crime? Allah is making these criminals testify themselves. وَهُمْ عَلَى مَا يَفْعَلُونَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ شُهُودٌ. Their crime is mashhud and they are shahid now. Niqmah is something you are disgusted by. You see something in someone and you can't stand it. Whether it's good or bad is not even relevant. It's not like it's really bad. It's just you really don't like it. This is niqmah. Right? Somebody walks into the masjid, you don't like the color of their shirt and you're giving them this dirty, nasty look. Right? This is niqmah. So Allah describes this word, وَمَا نَقَمُوا مِنْهُمْ. What was so detestable that they found in them? What made them so hateful of the believers? What filled them with so much, intolerance against these believers? وَمَا نَقَمُوا مِنْهُمْ. Naqam also means the urge to want to hurt the other, to take revenge against them for the offense that they've caused you. Whether they've caused you a real offense or not. You want to hurt them. You ever heard somebody say, man, that guy's wearing such stupid clothes, I want to slap him. People say silly things like that, right? So now, this guy's so annoying, I want to, the customer service lady, if I ever find her. Right? This is niqmah. So the idea is these disbelievers, before they came to the point of genocide against the Muslims, just the fact that they believed in Allah was enough for them to find this disgust, this real discomfort in them. Now, fortunately for our society, the vast majority of non-Muslims are not like this. They are not like this. This is a fortunate thing. The door to da'wah is still open. Why? Because when they see a Muslim, the first thing that doesn't come in most people, we think so. We think everybody's out to get us. It's not. Belief in Allah is not the thing that made them hated here. Allah didn't just say, وَمَا نَقَمُوا مِنْهُمْ إِلَّا أَن يُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ. They didn't find detesting, hatred and spiteful hatred against the believers, except for the reason that they believed in Allah. That's not what Allah said. He said, إِلَّا أَن يُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ الْعَزِيزِ الْحَمِيدِ. Two very powerful names of Allah. What did they believe about Allah specifically in this ayah? First name, Aziz. It comes from Izzah, the Arabic word. Not to be confused with the Urdu word, those of you who speak Urdu. Okay? Izzah in the Arabic language, it contains the meaning of authority. So they didn't just believe in a God, they believed in a God that has what? Authority. What that means is when that God speaks, when Allah speaks, when Allah tells me to behave, when Allah tells me to do, when Allah tells me not to do, I acknowledge His authority. You acknowledge the authority of your boss at work. You acknowledge the authority of the police officer that's standing right there. You're not going to cut the red light. You're not going to speed. You acknowledge the authority of the IRS. You acknowledge the authority of your professor who's going to fail you if you don't hand in the assignment. You acknowledge the authority of your parents. You acknowledge the authority of, we acknowledge authority throughout our life. These people didn't just believe in an abstract concept of God. They believed in an Allah who has authority over them. And this is something that really got under the skin of the oppressor. Because whose authority do they want to establish? Their own. How are you taking an authority other than me? This was what irked Fir'aun. Ana rabbukumul a'la. That's what he said. I am your supreme Lord. What are you talking about anybody else? What other authority? Ma alimtu lakum min ilahin ghayri. What other one to worship and obey do you find besides me? I don't see how you can even think of that. Right? So the first thing was the authority of Allah, Al-Aziz. The second thing here is Al-Hamid. And Al-Hamid is the inner conscience of the believer. You know, hamd in Arabic is two things. Ash-shukr wa thana. It's two things. It is to have gratitude and it's to praise. The believer who came to belief in Allah recognized that this Lord of mine has done me a lot of good and I haven't done anything in return. The least I should do is believe in Him and acknowledge His authority. This is the least gratitude I can show. I appreciate all the things He's done for me. I appreciate the fact that He even gave me the privilege to say La ilaha illallah. What other choice do I have but to accept His authority? The Hamid Allah. You acknowledge a Lord that's given you limbs. I didn't pay for my hands. I didn't pay for my eyes. You have the exact opposite concept with non-Muslims. They'll say, if there's a God, how come there's cancer? How come this kid is born with one eye? How come there's this? How come there's that? And we say, you know what? You people need to understand. He is Rabb. He doesn't owe you anything. You didn't sign any contract that says 5 fingers on the left and 5 fingers on the right, and they should be equal size. You didn't earn any of this. He gave it to you. He gave it. He didn't give it to you. It wasn't yours to begin with. To say this is my hand, the Muslim doesn't say this is my hand. We say it temporarily, but who does it belong to? You know why this belongs to Allah? Because we say, Inna lillah. We belong to Allah. Forget my hand or my eye or my clothes or my money or my health or my car. I belong to Allah. It's a completely different attitude. So we have this hamd of Allah, which helps us appreciate His authority. And Allah's authority is clear in the sky, but Allah's authority is also clear on the earth. Don't you think that these people did something that Allah didn't, that they slipped under Allah's radar somehow, that they got away with it? أَنْ يَسْبِقُونَ أَمْ حَسِبَ الَّذِينَ يَعْمَلُونَ السَّيِّئَاتِ أَنْ يَسْبِقُونَ. The people that commit sins, do they think they got ahead of us? Do they think they got around the security camera? سَاءَ مَا يَحْكُمُونَ. What a horrible decision they made. What a horrible assumption they've made. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us the one to whom the sovereignty of the heavens and the earth belong. Let me tell you something about sovereignty and mulk. When you're sovereign over something, that means nobody else can question what you do. A sovereign nation, what's a sovereign nation? No other nation can tell them what to do. They have their sovereign law. A sovereign ruler like an ancient king, nobody can tell him, hey king, this is a bad idea, this is a good idea. It's out of the question. They have absolute authority. So, الَّذِي لَهُ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. The one who has sovereignty over the heavens and the earth. This was part of their iman. This was even worse for the kuffar. How can they acknowledge the sovereignty of Allah? Not questioning anything from Allah. And this is, the real problem in iman is not believing in a God that created the universe or created the heavens and the earth and is merciful and powerful. Most people have no problem believing that. You know where the problem starts? When you give God sovereignty. When you say He has the authority, He has complete control, and He is the only one rightful of that control. So His authority comes from His sovereignty. Does He have authority? Because He has the mulk. He owns it. I have authority over this bag because it belongs to who? It's mine. That's why I have authority over it. Allah owns all of this, so He has authority over it. So at the root of all of this is Allah's milkiyah, His ownership. As in regards to every single thing under imagination. Everything you can imagine, Allah has been witness to it all along.